We are back. This is the Group 1 winners match for the first season of the Manifold Promotional League. I am Brad. With me here, as always, is Adam. Adam, what do we got going on today?
Today we got Steven and Nick battling it out to see who gets to progress onto out of this group and who has to fight one more time. So first off, we've got Steven Boston's deck here, Sylvestra Starlet. This is a deck where all the cards are good. You got removal, you got threats, you got just a bunch of efficient cards. Starlet will draw them, and Sylvestra will make them more survivable.
And we got to see Steven against Chris in the placement match. In this deck, you're just always trying to take a tiny trade. You want to win every round by the smallest amount, and you want to leave behind a Docide Thug, a dice counter, something like that.
Yeah, you play continue training, they remove your continue training, you have a black counter, and you call yourself lucky.
Now he's up against Nick, and Nick has a very different deck, not the kind of deck that you really want to trade against. Nick is playing DADO-14. What does this do?
Yeah, so this is the opposite of Steven's deck. This is a synergy deck where you have a bunch of A pieces and a bunch of B pieces, and you want to sync them up nicely. Dado, when activated, makes a Sentinel, and Ramorand, when activated, sacrifices that Sentinel. Nice and easy. And then the deck is full of a bunch of stuff that's easily sacrificable and a couple ways to sacrifice stuff. And things like Remembrance that are good when you are incidentally sacrificing other things. And so really, there's two important things here. Nick's heroes make a lot of damage on their own. Dado resolving energy as damage and Ramorand doing the same. And then, so just if Nick decides to just trade off stuff, then his heroes will probably present a good clock. And B, Nick's deck is trying to work with itself and with its heroes as much as possible.
And so if Nick's deck is able to present a good game, Steven's going to have a really hard time interacting with him, and Steven's deck is going to be forced to present power instead of answers.
Absolutely.
And now our players are shuffled up. It looks like we're going to be starting. Let's get into this.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
We've got Steven on the top, we've got Nick on the bottom, and it looks like the players have just picked out their locales, so we'll be taking our first action shortly.
Yeah, right off the bat, so everyone knows, Steven likes to play with his dice in play. You see underneath Starlet and Sylvestra, he's got those dice set up. Those are just the dice that his objects will create. You can see he's just rolling them right now. It's kind of nice to be able to see that, but it does make for a cluttered board, so, you know.
Yeah, Steven's been playing this game with chess clocks. He thinks everyone should be playing this game with chess clocks. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing that, just the second and a half that it takes for you to find your dice, every activation really adds up.
Yeah.
Steven is activating Starlet. He's drawing an extra card, trying to wait so that he gets more information before he starts playing his cards.
Yep. So both of Steven's heroes say when activated, you may resolve one dice as if it showed, draw in Starlet's case, and shield in Sylvestra's case. And for those who don't know what that means is you're going to pick one of your dice. It might say 1 or 2, and you get rid of it or you resolve it as though the symbol showed whatever either shield or draw the hero wants you to do. So either way, that just means his heroes give him a lot more options than his dice would natively show.
Steven, yep, here we are. He played a Wasteland Stalwart. This is the only one-cost character in his deck. Steven doesn't believe in playing one-durability characters because they trade down so often. The one exception is Wasteland Stalwart, because Wasteland Stalwart gets a shield when it gets a dice counter.
Yep, works really, really nicely with Energy Retracer. This is a pretty common combo. With Energy Retracer, if you're playing with 221s, you actually want an off-color, a non-yellow one-drop, and so Wasteland Requiem or Stalwart works with that really nicely.
And we said Nick's going to play a bunch of things that don't get removed very effectively, or that Nick doesn't care if they get removed, so Steven's going to have to present power.
Yep.
Here we are.
This is power.
A 3-dice, 4-cost character is it's really going to come out swinging.
Yep. And on the other side, Nick is playing small support characters, rolling their dice, and then sacrificing them, so that's what he's here to do anyway, right? Augur's Auspice is great for that.
Nick's rolled a lot of excellent faces.
Yes.
It's Modify, which is a little bit bad when all the rest of your faces are perfect. But I imagine he'll find a use for it at some point.
Yeah, I believe in him. So we've got a Blessed Mender as Nick's big play this round. That's going to attach to Dado, and make it so when Dado activates, he can sacrifice something as well, as as Ramorand does.
In order to heal 2.
In order to, sorry.
And so now we've got a
there.
little game of chicken going on where Nick doesn't want to activate Dado until after Steven resolves damage.
Well,
so there he is.
We
break
damage.
the ice. I thought there was going to be more of a dance there.
Yeah, I think Steven decided that he wasn't going to be doing much more than just resolving damage, and so might as well just go ahead and do it. Makes enough sense to me. Yeah, so Dado activation here will roll the dice, sacrifice the Augur's Auspice, draw a card off that Augur's Auspice, and create a Sentinel and heal 2. Pretty good combination of things. Did we make a Sentinel?
I believe we forgot to make a Sentinel.
Oh,
that's really unfortunate. Yeah.
All right, well.
Because Nick's plan in an ideal world is next round you get to activate your Sentinel, and then when you activate Dado, you get to sacrifice your Sentinel and make a new one.
Yeah, Dado only makes a Sentinel if you don't have one. So, overall, this is like 2 damage, right? 1 Sentinel activation this round, 1 next round.
Well, it's also an entire body.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a
sure.
gem and a card.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, well, unfortunate. I guess we'll see what the end result is after this game, whether or not it mattered.
Yeah, one of the things I really love about Manifold, I've been describing this game a lot like an RTS. It's, kind of easy to play. There's just a couple actions available and you take them. But it's impossible to play perfectly because there's so many little minute things that you have to do right.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan because if a game can't be played perfectly, it really frees me from feeling bad when I make a mistake.
Yeah, sure. I buy that. Nick, to start off this round 2, plays favorite card, Chief Operator, which is a banger, and it would be excellent if Steven didn't just immediately remove it. But that's fine. 3 for 3 trade.
Yeah, nothing lost. And Nick won the damage race slightly in round 1 and lost the dice production race slightly in round 1. So it's not totally clear if we just trade off our gems who's advantaged.
Right. I generally believe that Dado Ramorand is fairly usually advantaged when just resolving dice, or when trading off gems and then just resolving their dice. But an
energy retracer in round 1 was pretty impactful.
You are
so
right.
Nick's got just like a little bit of a hill he has to climb.
All right, this time we're making a Sentinel. Excellent. Good job. All right, so we've got, I guess Steven still has gems. Nick doesn't. Steven can do more things after this. He's probably going to activate Starlet before deciding what to play.
Unless he's going to use continued training to put a counter on Starlet.
Sure.
Which, okay, looks like that's not what's going to happen here.
Great. Easy enough. We'll see one way or another. Another thing Steven does, just so you know, is he uses those Lego shields that you see when in play.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So our gems are spent on a single blue counter, which also provides a shield onto Starlet.
Yeah.
Nick must have passed?
I think. I guess Nick passed. Okay. Steven will then resolve this. Green dice as draw. Nick will activate Ramorand, rolling a bunch of dice, and sacking the Revenant to deal 3 damage, presumably to Starlet, now that she's not shielded.
So I think Nick didn't pass. He activated his Sentinel and took off Starlet's shield.
I see.
And they just didn't resolve those things in exactly the order that made it make sense for the camera.
Makes no sense.
But Nick needed to take the shield off of Starlet so that he could resolve Revenant's dies trigger into Starlet.
Yep. So now we're back on track with Nick taking a tactical reroll. Looks like our players basically just have a pile of dice that they're going to be resolving, and I don't think we're going to and tactical rerolling, of course. Ooh, that was a nice tactical reroll for Steven. That's a lot of damage.
That gets him to 9 damage. Nick has an outside shot of killing Starlet here, and if he pulls that off, he's going to be way ahead.
That's true.
But it is unlikely. He's got to get through a shield. I can't tell if there's another shield in Steven's pool.
Yeah,
there's that blue dice off to the side.
That is a shield.
Yeah, so that's pretty much going to make sure that doesn't happen.
I suppose Nick is a little ahead in terms of tempo. Not enough, though. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Nick had to resolve Modify, and Steven's damage was all physical.
Right.
So Steven basically caught up 2 free actions, which means he's the one that ends up digging in, and he gets this bonus shield.
Okay. So it's pretty close.
It's very close.
Yeah. One thing that I like about Manifold is it's always a race. You're never having one person win with 0 damage taken. So this 3 damage to 2 damage is you get to deal damage even if you lose the game, right? You still get to do fun things. And so here it's very, very close. But even if, Nick had 7 more health or whatever, Steven still did things. I suppose that's not the situation in this game.
Yeah.
But
So both of these heroes are very likely to die in round 1, which means both players are likely to lose not only a 21, but also their 3 cost prestige.
Yep.
Taking 3 dice off the table.
Yeah.
There's some world in which a flurry of change the tides or diplomatic meetings or whatever
I've seen that happen.
keeps one player's hero alive, but that would be at the cost of them not developing their board, and their opponent would develop their board.
Yeah, I mean, Steven just rolled 3 blue dice and has Sylvestra, so just shielding a while. He didn't roll a bunch of shields, but that could have happened.
That could be how that goes out.
Yeah.
Nick's deck is also very good at fighting shields.
That's true.
Not only are you making at least using roughly 2 sentinels around, but all his little guys like Augur's Auspice roll boon dice, and boon dice are good at making 1 damage, which is good at removing shields.
Exactly. Interesting decision point here. Nick could have activated Dado, sacking the Sentinel, healing Ramorand, but instead decided to deploy a Revenant so that he is ready to kill Starlet once that shield is gone.
Although it does kind of mean
with Ramorand's
right now. Oh, I guess we can activate Revenant. Until we find 1 damage somewhere, Nick doesn't have an excellent action to take.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to activate Ramorand. He doesn't really want to activate Dado.
That's true.
I guess you can activate Ramorand because Dado is now also a sack outlet.
Yeah.
Ramorand can sack your Sentinel.
And Dado can just activate to sack the Sentinel and make a new one, and there's your damage. And
that does work like that.
It works real nice.
So something about Manifold that's very different from other games you may have played is how stacking triggers works. The easiest way to put it is at your leisure. There's no first in, last out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just you take your action, some triggers are made, you get to resolve those triggers in whatever order you want. And if resolving them makes some more triggers, you get to continue resolving those in whatever order you want.
Just as long as whatever is triggering was there to see whatever triggered it.
Oh, that was not the play I was expecting there.
Yep. So we have the Dado activation sacrificing the Revenant to kill the Daring Saboteur that Steven played instead of shooting it at a hero, which is fine, I think. I think that Nick is going to kill Starlet this round, which means if we're just trading off our board state, that's probably okay.
The pretty costly decision there was that means Dado did not make a Sentinel this round because it was activated while there was a Sentinel still alive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, well, here's another Revenant. Neat. I guess I'm surprised then that you're totally right. Why didn't he activate Ramorand to sacrifice the Revenant instead of Dado?
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
But
Maybe he wanted to heal right now so that Ramorand didn't die to a Witchfire and, some nonsense.
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons either direction. But you're right that losing out on Sentinel is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is impactful.
Mm-hmm.
So both of these players controlled the game relatively well in their placement matches, and neither of them really felt like they were going to die in those games. This game, much tighter.
Yes. Both people are threatening killing their opponent's heroes, and if you make a misstep, you might just lose and have to fight another game. But this game is fairly big for both of them. Being able to just be out of this group is nice.
Yeah, the winner of this game is the first person to qualify for the round of 16.
Yep.
Ever.
That's true. Yeah, this is a tournament system in which you got groups of 4, and 2 of them will progress to the next round, and 2 of them will get knocked out. And this game is for progressing, like I said. Anyway, Back Alley Conjurer here for Steven will just roll dice and modify, and that's what his deck's all about, right? Just making dice, being good stats, and, just being solid.
Somehow, Nick is not presenting lethal. If he takes off, he can sabotage a shield. He can take off 2 shields.
Yeah.
And then Ramorand can take off a shield.
With
and
the
then he can
ability.
But there's that 4 shield from Steven. I think Starlet doesn't die here.
No way. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It looks like you're right, but wow. Yeah, Nick's just gonna, unless something else happened. Yeah, it looks like Nick's just gonna plow a bunch of 2 damages into Steven's 1 shield sides, and then potentially fail to.
And
kill
actually,
Starlet.
with a shield, a sabotage, and a dig in, Ramorand might not die here.
Huh. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Huh, good point. Good point.
Yeah, so it looks
That's
like
crazy.
both players
Okay.
just committed to the board, but
Wow,
these dice
protection and
rolls
belief.
were so defensive.
Yep, protection and belief is just gonna eat away some of Steven's damage, and now here we are. Wow. All right.
So we found Nick unable to penetrate the shields and get 2 damage in with a Revenant in play, and Nick has missed 2 Sentinels. One of them was just like, you know, an accident, and the other one was a strategic play where he decided to do another thing, but...
It looks like Steven digs in.
Oh, digging in is really dangerous here because Nick could reroll and find lethal.
Yeah, he could. Steven's a bit proactive in readying the... Wow! A+. All right, that reroll right there. The white dice is going to take off the shield, and the 2 damage on the red is going to kill Starlet.
Whoa, that is gargantuan.
That is gargantuan.
That is 4 dice off of Steven's board unexpectedly, and Steven's reward for that is a shield on his back alley conjurer.
Nice. Very nice reroll on Nick's side there. Wow, okay.
Yeah, that makes it a whole lot tighter. Nick's ahead in the damage race by 5. And
Steven's ahead on board.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
if we assume that Ramorand is dead, right now they're making the same number of dice.
You're absolutely right. Steven's ahead on support characters.
Yeah.
All right, so we're into round, was it 3?
Looks
round
like
4.
3. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Round 4. Shield here will be taken off by the Sentinel. And this time, Dado's probably going to activate to sack the Sentinel and make a new one.
Oh, Ramorand's health went off last round.
Yes, it did. That's crazy. All right, so Orchestral Conductor on Steven's side is going to put a red counter on each of...
Up to 2 support characters.
It's just Steven's tanking, and I'm... No, okay, he's not. He's just doing the thing. Great. All right, so Steven's board is huge. And... yeah, Steven's rolling so many red dice. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting to next round and Steven has a big enough board presence that he's able to overcome Nick. Because that's kind of what he's going for here, right? Like, next round, if he plays another Orchestral Conductor and another Energy Retracer or something like that, he's just making so many dice. Because Nick's board keeps eating itself.
Yeah, you're right, but...
I mean, hopefully for Nick, he just kills Steven before we get there.
Yeah, even if he doesn't win the game this round, which he's relatively unlikely to. Mm-hmm. 16 is a big number, and like you mentioned, Nick's been eating his own board, so he hasn't been growing that much.
Yeah.
The first 8 damage that Steven does this round only catches up. And so if Nick is also able to put out 8 damage this round, even Steven having a huge board, he's behind by 8 life. He's got a long way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't suggesting that is how this is going to go. I more meant that's the difference between these 2 decks. Nick is trying to kill his opponent and eat his board state to do so. Steven's trying to grow as much as possible so that each round, the next round he'll be even bigger, the next round he'll be even bigger.
Yeah, that is true. In general, the longer the game goes, the more these the yellow mid-range decks are going to be advantaged.
Yes. Interestingly, on that note, Nick played a Change the Tide this round, which will sabotage 2 and modify 2. That's a card that is best spent on the last round of the game or pretty close to it, because it doesn't grow your board, but it does potentially kill your opponent.
Interestingly, though, if that sabotage 2 means Ramorand doesn't die this round, then it actually does kind of provide you 4 additional dice going into the next round.
Yeah, of course. That's how breakpoints work.
Yeah, one of the things that you'll find in Manifold that you don't see in a lot of other games is early aggression actually translates into board state. Yeah. Because once you do half of your opponent's life total, they lose some yield.
Yes, they do. All right, so finally, Nick was able to get Steven without any shields, and then was able to activate Ramorand, sacking the Revenant to deal 3 damage to Sylvestra, which is exactly what he'd been trying to do for this whole round so far. And we are back to seeing what's... So it looks like I guess Nick still has 5 gems. Never mind. Nick's not out of stuff.
Yeah. We could see a black altar. Steven doesn't have the gems right now to kill a black altar, so
Yeah.
if that's what's in his hand, it's relatively free. The auspice means that's not what's happening.
Yep. We just have the little bird, the opposite of the black altar, in fact.
Instead, we might see some combination of like Federation battle mages and follow the trails from Nick.
Which would be great.
Yeah, another follow the trail. One more instance of sabotage might be all it takes to keep Ramorand alive. Although, if Steven's got modify 3 up right now,
I'd be surprised if Ramorand actually survives this round.
just resolving modify doesn't kill him. Steven needs something else. Now, admittedly, Steven has 2 gems up.
Okay, I suppose that's true. Okay, yeah. Will Nick try to keep Ramorand alive? Will he be able to keep Ramorand alive? Or is he just going to go into damage? Okay, looks like modify into shield.
But Witchfire answers it.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow and green both have swift ways to remove your opponent's shields. So that's real awkward because now, instead of finding this damage, you're going to find... Well, I guess it's still going to prevent 2 damage onto Dado.
Yeah. The shield is still good, but it's not 2 damage.
And it's not your hero still being alive.
Yes, that is important. So now Steven was able to get out of this round, killing his opponent's hero, and he'll be able to dig in. All his dice were resolved pretty efficiently. I think Steven's pretty happy with how this round went.
Well, this round looks good for Steven right now. Nick still has 4 gems.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's as good as Steven can like hope for after seeing how last round.
Yeah, fair enough. He's in striking range. His opponent's
Yeah.
at 13, and he's got 11 premium dice to make next round.
Yeah.
That is, you can find 13 damage with 11 dice.
So, looks like this Federation Battle Mage, exactly like you said, will be Nick's play, and Steven already did dig in, or will momentarily or something. Either way, Nick is going to be making a bunch of plays here.
I think Nick's down to just 1 card. I think the Battle Mage was the last card in his hand, and then the Auspice.
Okay.
The Clothbound Apprentice is actually pretty decent here because that white dice is 2 damage because of Data's energy ability.
If he chooses to sacrifice it. He might keep it as a... I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, but like... Your
We'll see.
opponent's at 10. 2 damage looks pretty good.
2 damage does look pretty good. There we go. Okay, good. So then whatever this rolls, blank.
Doesn't matter.
It'll just be damage off that energy.
Yeah, so we're going to modify this black dice to 1 to take off Steven's shield. We're going to resolve our energy for 2 damage. I believe Steven already dug in because he only had physical damage dice showing.
I agree. Do that. 2 damage off Dado's energy. Shield, Dado. Just like we drew it up. All right, so going into presumably the last round of the game.
Pretty likely, unless
imagine.
there's diplomatic meetings and change the tides and,
Yes, of course.
gems spent protecting heroes.
Ramorand goes up in health. So is this round 5?
We're into round 5.
Yeah, round 5. Great.
So Nick did exactly as much damage as we suggested he was going to,
Yeah,
putting
that's
Sylvestra
good.
down to 8. Steven had a more prolific round than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting him to kill Ramorand, but he also got 4 damage into Dado.
Yeah.
Now 2 of that damage is going to be promptly healed.
Right. Yeah, well, that's one of the nice things about Blessed Mender. If you just trade off all of the damage, Blessed Mender will heal you. It's really hard to find heal, at least repeatable heal. Is that the only repeatable heal in Tyrann Sentinels?
Barika, but she
Barika.
can't. But she never actually does that.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, Blessed Mender is a real good card.
Oh, Magnite Studios.
Oh, you're right. So Blessed Mender is the only like real one that you're going to see in this tournament series, probably. Where Steven's going to start us up by activating Back Alley Conjure, and Nick will respond with Remembrance playing a Revenant. That's damage.
Yeah, that's gonna present. It's just a little awkward that he needs another sack outlet in order to get full value here.
Sure. I don't know. Still seems okay.
Yeah, but that means Steven's effectively at 5.
Yes.
Sentinel. Oh, he's not even shielded at the moment. If Nick was real greedy, he could just eat that
Yeah, just immediately
Revenant right now.
use it. But I think the red dice is good.
So
I think Nick's gonna need that red dice in order to actually close out the 5 damage without having to play a bunch more stuff and take a bunch more time.
So that's reasonable. Steven's advantage is that he's going to make a very large number of premium dice this round,
Mm-hmm.
but it's over 5 objects, which he has to activate one at a time. A big way Nick can prevent that advantage from rearing its head is just end the game in fewer than 5 actions.
Yes. Interesting. What are we doing?
Wasteland Requiem. Oh, we activated a druid with a dice counter on it.
Oh,
so we're going to remove
nice.
that dice counter to play our Wasteland Requiem from our discard.
Nice.
Which is going to put a yellow counter on probably the Energy Retracer because it's shielded.
Yep. That's one of the... Wasteland Requiem is great. It's a 3-drop. It rolls red, yellow. You don't need to read more. Until you do, and it's really good right now.
One of the cool things about this activation is... one of the cool things about using this ability now is it's a bonus action.
Yes.
He got to put that counter on the Energy Retracer, and it didn't take his turn.
Yes.
Starlet is at 5. This is real close.
Oh, interesting. Did Dado
Sylvestra's
heal?
at 5.
Did we heal? Yeah, there we go. Nick healed up to 14 health.
Which means we once again did not make a Sentinel.
Yep.
So this is the 3rd time that there was a Dado activation that did not make a Sentinel.
And I think that you could make a fairly good argument for both of the strategic times that happened.
Yeah. But if we end up leaving Steven at 2,
yes,
we're really gonna wonder how else we could have played this game.
Yeah. All right, so continue training on Steven's side is really interesting here. That shows that Steven isn't really worried about dying in the next 3 turns.
Yeah, he's being very cavalier, almost lackadaisical.
He's got a diplomatic meeting.
Yeah, that sure helps.
Interesting. So diplomatic meeting here is usually used to hit 2 damage sides, but instead it looks like he's going to use it to hit this black dice, blank the purple, and get rid of what was the
modify. The red dice.
The
was
red
modify.
Yeah, okay.
So going into this round, I believe Nick had no cards in hand because he used his last card at the end of last round.
Sure.
And he's played a Remembrance.
And that's
it.
So he does have one card.
He should have 1 card left in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a crackle, he's not quite presenting lethal. Also, Sylvestra's not presently shielded.
Because the Sentinel ate it. Damage, resolve shield. Is Nick just out of cards?
No, I think he has. I would wager he has a crackle in his hand.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to spend it.
He doesn't want to use it to reroll. But if you crackle Sylvestra and then try to go to next round and win with your Sentinel, you're just going to be dead before next round.
Yeah, Steven will be able to goldfish himself. 14 damage. Probably. Almost assuredly. That's 10 right there with the modify. I think Nick is just passing a bunch of times.
That probably means he doesn't have a crackle in his hand.
Yes, it probably does. Interesting that he's not tactical rerolling.
Yeah, there's a chance we missed something and he's out of cards.
Yeah.
Maybe he already rerolled once?
I don't know.
It looks like a Clothbound Apprentice under the Revenant. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if he's out of cards, this all makes perfect sense. And so, yeah, Steven was able to just make a bunch of Prima Dice and roll a bunch of 2 damages.
Wow, I did not think Steven was winning that game when Ramorand didn't die in round 3.
Yeah, that's crazy. But Steven's big board, just like I said, he grew big enough to just barely not die and have those dice matter a lot.
Very impressive. So Steven becomes the first player to qualify for the round of 16, and Nick is not eliminated. We will see Nick again in the Survivors match.
Yeah, that's coming up soon. Hope you guys make it. We'll see you there.
Thanks for watching.